Wake up in the grind, clock ticking, 20 minutes flat, freedom, main-handed knives built where the real ones at, from broken dreams.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the 20-Minute Freedom Project. I'm your host, Josh Lopez, and today we're just going to jump right into it. There is a moment in personal growth that almost no one wants to talk about. It's not the beginning. It's not a failure. It's not even the hard days. It's the moment where things start working and suddenly you feel oddly uncomfortable. Not overwhelmed, not exhausted, just off for some reason. The motivation has faded. The excitement levels are just not there. The results slow down. And most people interpret that feeling as a sign to ease up. But that moment, that's not a warning. That's the doorway. And most people turn around and choose not to walk through it. Most people don't quit because life gets hard. They quit because life stops feeling new. The routines settle in. The rituals feel repetitive. The novelty wears off. And without realizing, comfort starts whispering in their ear. You've earned a break. You're doing fine. You don't need to push today. But this is where the year quietly slips away. Because comfort doesn't show up as sabotage. It shows up as permission. Permission to drift. Permission to get soft. Permission to relax your standards just a little bit. And that little bit is where momentum dies. The real problem isn't lack of discipline. It's misreading the signal and getting comfortable. Here's the reframe, though. Discomfort after momentum is not a problem. It's a transition. It's the moment where your nervous system realizes this is becoming the new normal. And that normal, you're kind of like, I don't like this. It's not normal. Not because it's bad, but because it's unknown. It's a different normal. It's so used to a certain way that it tries to pull you back into what's familiar. Even if familiar isn't better, even if familiar is stagnation, comfort is not rest. Comfort is often resistance disguised as relief. And if you don't recognize it, you'll start falling back into your old ways. In the beginning of everything, motivation carries you. The excitement, the emotion fuels action. The adrenaline fills the gaps. But the motivation is always temporary. And when it fades, the body and the mind start asking, is this really who I am now? That question creates so much friction. Not dramatic friction, but the subtle friction. The little things here, the little things there. You start hesitating more. You negotiate more. You justify more. And instead of seeing this as a test, most people see it as a feedback and not a good feedback. I must be pushing too hard. I should listen to my body. I need balance. And sometimes that might be true. But most of the time, that's comfort protecting your old identity. The one that you are trying to leave in the past. The one that you don't like anymore. The one that does not serve you anymore. We're going to cover the comfort loop. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Step one is the momentum. It's when you start showing up, when you install the systems, when you follow through, your energy is high. The second step, subtle discomfort. It's when the excitement starts to fade. Your progress slows. The work becomes quiet and repetitive. You don't get that dopamine hit. Step three, rationalization. This isn't sustainable. I don't need this to be strict. I'll ease up just a bit. Sound reasonable? Because you start to think that. It starts to feel normal. Step 4 is retreat. It's when your standards soften, your rituals slip, your old patterns return. And months later, you wonder, what happened? You didn't really fail. You obeyed the small subtleties and the comfort. There is a story about the frog and the boiling water. Just as you do little things over time to build a habit and become the person you want to be, it's the same for falling back into your old habits. If you boil the water first and drop the frog in, he'll jump right out. But if you put the frog in water, turn the heat on, and it slowly but surely raise the temperature of it, he'll get cooked. It's the same way for falling back into comfort and becoming the person you want to be. If you try to force it all at once, there's going to be so much resistance and friction, and you're going to have so many issues of not wanting to do it. But if you start things slowly, do it step by step, precept upon precept, and make it happen slowly over time, you become the person you want to be without frying yourself. But you have to make sure that you're not doing that in the opposite direction. You've built all these habits. It's not where you used to be. You spent years in that old you. And if you don't actually pay attention to the subtle things that are happening little by little, you'll go back to the same way you used to be, wondering what happened. Don't fall into that trap. Fall on the side that you decide to change for the better. And don't let it go in reverse. Most people quit when they're closest. Not because results aren't coming, but because identity is shifting. And identity shifts feel like a loss before it even feels like a gain. You lose all those familiar routines and the old excuses and your old friends sometimes because you're becoming someone that they don't feel comfortable around. And you start losing all that comfortable self-talk because you're like, you're okay, you can do this. It's fine. And you lose that whole ability of saying, that's just how I am. And the mind resists that loss. So it offers comfort as an escape hatch. The people who build something don't really avoid this moment. They recognize it and they don't obey it. They don't follow that trapdoor, that escape hatch. They choose to avoid it. This is where you're going to get very honest with yourself. I want you to ask yourself, where have I eased up because things stopped feeling exciting? If you happen to be an entrepreneur, a true version of an entrepreneur, where you're always doing a couple different things at once and you always have a bunch of irons in the fire, you're going to lose that joy and that excitement of something. And something new and exciting always comes knocking at your door and you're like, this is sweet. I love this because this is the new thing. I love this idea. We're going to jump all into it. And then what happens is once you get into it, maybe it's not actually a passion of yours. Maybe it's something that you don't really need, don't really want, and you lose that excitement in the very beginning. I might have got a little off track there, but I just had to put that in there because we have all stumbled on that. But back to those getting really honest with yourself questions. The last one was, where have I been easing up because things stop feeling exciting? The next one is, where have I mistaken comfort for balance? What standard have I quietly lowered without admitting it? No judgment, just awareness. Because awareness is what separates the drift from decision. Because if you're not aware of it, you can't change it. Something that's not measured, you can't change anything about it because you have no idea what's happening. Here's your freedom challenge. This is not about the motivation. It's about exposure. For the next 7 days, you are going to practice voluntary discomfort. One controlled action every day on purpose. I'm going to choose one of the following. Physical. You're going to do cold exposure, extra reps, maybe no music while you're working out. Cut out a food you enjoy, but you know is not great for you. Mental. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. That means no phone, no book, no nothing, no input, just awareness. You're going to sit with yourself for 10 minutes. Next is execution. Do the task you keep pushing to tomorrow. First, before checking messages, before distractions. Here's the rule. You don't hype it. You don't rush it. And you don't reward it. You simply just do it. And notice what shows up internally. The excuses, the resistance. That resistance is the wall forming. Don't fight it. Just observe it. Here is the decision you're making right now. You can keep listening to comfort, or you can start training for discipline. The wall is coming either way. The question is whether you meet it unprepared or already familiar with resistance. So you are prepared. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be honest. You need to be aware. And honesty, practiced daily, turns into power. And if this episode made you think, maybe it pushed you, maybe it made you uncomfortable, maybe it gave you a different perspective, share it out with somebody who needs it. And remember that freedom isn't found. It's built. One decision, one action, one day at a time. So don't wait for the motivation. Don't wait for permission. Do the work today, not tomorrow. And I will catch you guys on the next one.